Presentation of Vandog Media for PirateFlagRadio.com. This is a special presentation of PirateFlagRadio.com. Enjoy the show. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, it's music you haven't heard in a really long time. It's a special edition of the Mike Vanek podcast. Today, we are doing the Pirate Flag Showcase and announcement special. First got yours truly, Mike Vanek stuff, and a very special guest, Terry Allen from Kill Radio. What's up, guys? My name is Mike Vanek, and joining me today is the man, the myth, the legend himself, the Kansas City Royals fan, the man who runs and operates Pirate Flag Radio, boss to me, little Bob to you. Ladies and gentlemen, joining me tonight is Mr. Kerry Allen. How you doing, buddy?
I'm good, man. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I've been wanting to do one of these with you for a long time.
Yeah, we've been needing to do this for a while now. I'm glad we're finally
if this
getting
works
to it.
out, we'll probably just go ahead and start a show. Today we are here to announce the bands playing the very first Pirate Flag Radio live showcase that we're doing.
First off, I just want to say, Mike, that it's a perfect showcase.
Mm-hmm.
Kudos to you for putting this all together and working hard and getting that taken care of.
Well,
before we get to the big announcement, just wanted to put that in there.
Well, I appreciate that, brother. And it's just something we're doing for all of us. It's us. This first one is a celebration of Pirate Flag Radio.
Absolutely.
A lot of people that work hard to make this thing go. We got me, Mike Vanek Sucks, you, Kerry Allen, who does Fuzzkill Radio. Every other week you do the Heavy Low show. You do the Pirate Flag Radio Theater Hour. What am I forgetting? Oh, and he's featured on the legendary Maximum Rock and Roll Radio, which I've been listening to since I was 7 years old. So, we appreciate what you do, Kerry, and we also have, Lunchbox.
Well, I appreciate you, Mike, for giving me the opportunity and the place to do it. So it's always just all fun.
No problem.
We're doing it. Yeah.
Like I was saying, we got Lunchbox. We got Ethan Frazier, who does the Carry On Pit. Captain Luke, who does Cruising Broad and the Late Night Leftovers. Jeff Hess does Tunes from the Crypt. And Dallas Danger does the Danger Zone and Two Guys Talking Baseball. We have a well-oiled machine here, man, and you're a big part of that. I appreciate you doing this.
I'm glad to be a part of it. It's great. It's great to be a part of a radio station who just wants to play music and not sell you all the corporate stuff. So
all right, so let's get into that, shall we? We're gonna announce our first band. We're gonna talk a little bit about it, and then we're gonna get into the next one. The first band playing on July 19th at the Stockyard in Bristol, Tennessee, right next, literally footsteps away from Bristol Motor Speedway. It's 190 North Raceway Villa Drive. And like I said, you could see BMS from the property. It's a $10 show. It's July 19th. It starts at 7 p.m. with DJ Hughes. And then we're going to hear our first band, who is a very good friend of both of ours. This is Moose Trainwreck Roberts. You're listening to the Pirate Flag Showcase band announcement special with Kerry and Mike on PirateFlagRadio.com.
On the vine, you waited for the end.
WPFR PirateFlagRadio.com. That was Brim and Brow by the legendary Moose Trainwreck Roberts. I know you're a big Moose fan. What are your thoughts on Moose Trainwreck Roberts, Gary?
Moose not only is a great musician and a great songwriter.
Yeah.
He basically was a big part in getting me into the music scene and playing shows.
Yeah, I heard that a lot.
He's seen us at an open mic at O'Mannon's and basically put us on a bunch of shows with the band that I was in. It was called the Double Cure at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And basically put us on a bunch of his opening for him and a bunch of his shows. So, I owe Moose a great gratitude for giving us a shot way back when I was doing music. So, I really appreciate Moose and Moose will always be my guy.
Right on. When I moved to Bristol, everybody had a Moose story, and when I finally met him, it was like meeting this folklore legend.
Yeah, for sure.
What I mean? Mm-hmm. Moose is a great guy. We couldn't do this show without him. We're gonna see what if it's just him or if it's him in a band, but he will definitely be there July 19th at the Stockyard in Bristol. With Moose Trainwreck Roberts. You want to get into the next band, sir?
Let's do it.
All right,
let's go.
We're going to change directions just a little bit. This next band is a thrash band from Johnson City, Tennessee. They are called Bacaloo. This one is called Panic. You're listening to the Pirate Flag Radio Showcase Special with Mike and Carrie. Dude, this is going to be killer. Turn it up. This is Bacaloo with Panic on PirateFlagRadio.com.
The end is near. Devil's laughter. The end is clear.
WPFR Pirate Flag Radio, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. That was Bakaloo from Johnson City, Tennessee. They will be at the Pirate Flag Showcase on July 19th at the Stockyard. What are your thoughts on Bakaloo, my friend?
Old school thrash.
Yeah,
that's what I gotta say. Old school thrash. Great. They're some hometown boys of mine, Johnson City, Tennessee. Glad that some thrash is coming out of the area. That's just pure thrash. You know what I'm saying? And I featured them on my first show on Maximum Rock and Roll. It's the same album. Shifting Terror was the song that I played.
Yeah.
And just had to showcase them to the rest of the world because, again, just pure thrash. So,
funny story about that band. Right before I got the job at the casino, I was working at a gas station over here, and I was fully committed to joining them as their singer. I was learning their songs. Yeah, dude. I was learning their songs. I had their whole album worked out and 3 covers, and I was getting ready to go audition for them. And then I got that call from the casino, and it's like, here's a job where you're gonna make more money than you've ever made in your whole life, and retirement and all that. You know what I mean? And almost 3 years later, I'm still there, thank God.
Yeah, good.
But I almost joined this band, so it's cool to have them on here. And
absolutely,
when they kicked out their singer, Zach took over singing duties, and he recorded it at the Classic Studio when it was right down the street from my house.
Gotcha.
So that's cool too. What are your closing thoughts on this band?
Again, man, I haven't seen them live yet. I haven't actually got to see them live yet, so I'm really excited.
Yeah.
If I don't see them before then, that we'll have them at this showcase. But pure thrash, man. That's all I gotta say. It's great, great stuff.
They look like I haven't seen them live either, and I've met Zach a bunch of times, and I've seen videos of them playing live, and they just seem like a band that's exciting to watch. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, yeah. I mean, thrash is always fun to be live. So. Thrash shows are always the most fun shows, I think.
Absolutely. All right, let's get into the next one. Yeah. So this next band that we have, and I know we're zooming through this, but me and Carrie have something to go do after this. This next band is one of my favorite bands in the scene. And actually, these next 2 bands are 2 of my favorite bands in the scene. But this next one just went through an identity change, and when I was asking around to see who we should book for this is the band that all the other bands said. It's like, oh, you gotta get Coffin Smoke, dude. And I'm like, okay. Well, I went and saw them at the Hideaway and talked to Homeboy about it, and when I finally got the date at the club, they were the first ones I hit up. So we're going to listen to it. We'll come back and talk about it. This is Coffin Smoke from Johnson City, Tennessee. With Left to Right, you're listening to the Pirate Flag Showcase Band Announcement Special with Carrie and Mike on pirateflagradio.com.
Draws the blood.
WPFR Pirate Flag Radio. That was Left to Rot by the mighty Coffin Smoke. And, this was a big get for us.
Mm-hmm.
This band and our headliner are real big deals around here. And even some of my friends out in California know who Coffin Smoke was. And when I moved here, they were called Navajo Witch.
Right.
And they were one of the first bands. People at the gas station would tell me, "Oh, you gotta go see these guys. They're fucking sick." And I went to their last show as Navajo Witch at the Hideaway, and they just blew me away. And then when they came back with the Coffin Smoke stuff, I was like, "Oh my god!" Navajo Witch is super fucking heavy. This just elevates it, and the singles that they've put out and the whole record is killer. What are your thoughts on Coffin Smoke, my friend?
First off, the guys are awesome guys.
Mm-hmm.
First off, Dylan, is a friend of mine, and he's done all my artwork basically. So so I really appreciate all that stuff. But when the identity changed, same three guys, just different name, and they sort of shifted into this more death doom sort of just a slight hint into the death metal with the new identity as Coffin Smoke. And they also have a bit of a California connection, because on their first as Navajo Witch, on their I believe it was their first album, that Wino from the Obsessed and Saint Vitus actually is featured on that album. He does vocals on a song.
That's crazy.
So there's that bit of a California connection there. But yeah, so these guys are awesome guys, and if you've never seen them live, you got to see them live, because they just the sound live is just like you're listening to the album. That they are so tight, it's not even funny how tight they are. So yeah, great guys, great band. You're always curious, like, okay, it's a new name, what's going to happen, but they just like upped it a notch. They didn't it just got better, with the name change. So,
well, I am super stoked to have them, and they're an amazing band, and it's cool when you do this to when you make the list of bands that you want, and you make a list of 8, and around here you only have like 3 or 4 bands,
right?
And I picked 3 bands, and then Moose has to play, so we can't tell Moose no, right?
That's right.
So I picked the 3 bands I wanted, and then I had 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 just in case. The first 3 bands said yes, so
that's awesome.
I was super stoked.
It's perfect. It's the perfect first show for us, because these 4 bands, or Moose, if he's the band or whatever solo, but we play these bands probably more than any bands, like on our shows, totally. With the exception of a few other ones, these probably get played the most.
I take that back. The first band I asked was Wind Rider. And she told me that they're busy around this time, which is totally respectable. You know what I mean? They just got signed. They just got a national touring deal. You know what I mean? So
I just found out today that my wife and Chloe were neighbors.
Really?
We had no idea when my wife was still a teenager, and Chloe was younger. They lived next to each other. We had no idea until today. The connection was made.
That's crazy.
But anyways, side note.
All right. So what are your closing thoughts on booking Coffin Smoke?
Coffin Smoke is just an awesome band. They're great guys. The nicest guy. They're like the epitome of Southern hospitality.
Right on.
Because they're just Southern good old boys who are playing doom metal. That's it.
Wow. Cool. All right, so let's get into our headliners for tonight, and we'll get out of here. This band is legitimately maybe besides Wind Rider, it's a close fight, but this is my favorite band from our scene, and it's one of the when I like I said when I moved here, I started asking about bands. Well, this is the one that everybody said you got to go see these guys. You know what I mean? First it was Moose, and then Mama Molasses, and then Indigo,
Yep.
no longer with us.
Right.
But these guys were the band that everybody was like, you got to go see the fucking
right.
And, you know, then I started going to this bar downtown that we've both been to, the Elder Brew, and their bass player is the bartender.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I started going there all the time. I still go there all the time. And, you know, these guys are cool as hell. Their drummer is a high school teacher right around the corner from my house. I work with a guitar player at the casino. He's the coolest guy ever. Jared Rogers, their bass player, also plays drums in Obsidian Urn, and he fills in and tours with more bands than we have time to mention.
yeah,
you know what I
sure.
mean? Every matter of fact, he's currently working on, you know, he's not playing, but he is working on tour right now with our friends Weed Eater, who are on tour with Napalm Death and the Melvins.
Isn't that crazy?
So that guy's riding around with one of the coolest bands ever on tour with straight up legends.
The other two coolest bands.
Yeah. And he's like posting shit on Facebook like, oh, I'm just standing behind the Melvins while they play a show.
Right.
I'm like, oh, that's dope. All right. Anyways, let's get into it. We'll come back and talk about these guys when we come back. This is quite possibly my favorite band I've ever seen here. This is the Nerve Endings. You're listening to them on the Pirate Flag Showcase band announcement special with Carrie and Mike.
Talk about the good old days back when punk rock was real, and I'm just like, this is you guys are insufferable. I hate everything about being in this band.
So we'll see what happens.
WPFR Pirate Flag Radio. The nerve endings. What are your thoughts on the nerve endings, my friend?
Nerve endings. Their sound is so unique.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you place them? It's sort of, the genre is not clear, if that makes sense,
Right.
because you can put them on a punk rock compilation and it fit perfectly.
Right.
You can put them on a doom compilation and it fit perfectly.
Right.
You can put them on a stoner desert rock compilation and it fit perfectly.
Yeah.
So first of all, again, I know I keep saying it, all great guys. You come to a show and you're treated like they knew you your whole life.
Your family. Yeah,
that's right. Yeah, so they, and the fact is they have, they were on the Weedy in Tennessee compilation.
They were.
I put them on my Maximum Rock and Roll show, the first one I did.
You sure did.
Under the punk rock umbrella. So you can't place them, but that's a good thing, because it's a little bit grungy, it's a little bit punk rock, it's a little bit stoner. It's just, again, great guys, great band. Glad we got them on the show for June. So,
well, this is our headliner, and I'm really stoked to have them, especially being probably the biggest band from Bristol. You know what I mean? And
sure.
Like you said, they're all good guys. Their singer Sterling does Gray Sheep here on Pirate Flag Radio. He's a really cool guy. Got to spend a little bit of time with him at the baseball card show.
Yeah, that's right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and he is just, he's a regular down to earth dude. So are the other guys, you know what I mean? Like I said, one of them tours the country all the time, works at a weed shop. The other one is a CSR at the casino, and then their drummer is a high school teacher. You know what I mean? And his students see him at the shows, and they're like, "Oh, what are you doing here?" And he's like, "Oh, I'm headlining. What are you doing?"
Right.
Just a killer band, a killer group of guys, and a perfect band to headline our show.
That's right.
I've seen them probably a half a dozen times.
Yeah. And speaking of, I've seen them the first time I seen them. I don't remember how many years ago it's been now, but they were they were booked at a show. There was a band from Florida. I can't remember the name of them right now, but they were touring through. They came to the Hideaway, and it was Nerve Endings, Navajo Witch, and the other band, I cannot remember the name of them right now. But anyways, they were a sludge band. But yeah, so I got to see them and Navajo Witch for the first time. Both of them on the same show.
That's
so
cool.
That was pretty cool. So
yeah, and when I was looking for bands, Jared from Nerve Ending was like, "You gotta go see Navajo Witch." And you go see them, and then you gotta go walk over to Jared and be, God damn it, you were right. So
yeah, that's right.
So those are our bands for July 19th at the Stockyard in Bristol, footsteps away from Bristol Motor Speedway. And I know a lot of our local audience that listens is from Johnson City, Tennessee.
That's right.
Our venue is literally 15 minutes from Johnson City.
Yep.
So it's a hop, skip, and a jump on over here to Bristol, Tennessee. It's 190 North Raceway Villa Drive. If you're coming from Bristol, right before you get to Bristol Motor Speedway, you'll see it on the left side of the road. If you're coming from Johnson City, it's right after you pass Bristol Motor Speedway. And, we're going to have a good time. We want to thank Felicia and Evan Hughes, the owners of the Stockyard, for letting us do a hardcore ass metal show at their venue, and we want to support them. They do a lot of different things. There's a lot of country music there. There's a lot of rock shows. Well, we're bringing the fucking metal, and we're
bringing the best. We're bringing the best of it.
We are bringing the best bands from our area, and they're all bands that we play. So, with that being said, Carrie Allen, where can people find you and your shows on social media?
Well, you can find. Well, of course, I'm Fuzzkill Radio on Facebook. Mm-hmm. Please go there, like, share. all that good stuff. Request a song, whatever you want to do on the Facebook page. You can find Fuzzkill Radio every Thursday night at 9:00 right here on Pirate Flag Radio, WPFR. So please tune in. Most of all, tell your friends about Pirate Flag Radio. Tell your friends about all the shows here, and turn off the super stations and turn on a underground independent radio station.
That's right. Fuzzkill was one of our first shows ever, and Kerry's a founding father of the Pirate Flag Radio. My name's Mike Vanek, and I suck. You can find me everywhere on Pirate Flag Radio. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, who knows how many shows. You can find me on Mondays with Old School Metal Time Machine at 9:00 Eastern. You can find me Wednesdays at 11:00 Eastern with the Scuzz Bucket radio program, where we play a lot of punk rock and alternative music. You can find me on Fridays with Sounds of the Underground, which is the first show I ever did, where we showcase bands from not only around the USA, but around the world. And it's all underground bands. And then you can check me out. Let's see, I don't do Future Shock anymore. Well, for now. And then you can check me out every other week. Me and Carrie switch off duties for the Heavy, Heavy, Low, Low show, which is our Stoner Doom extravaganza that we love to do. And then you can check me out every Sunday night for Deep Tracks Flashback or Deep Tracks Flashback. And occasionally we all host a show called Dive Bar Country on Sunday nights. And, Mr. Kerry Allen, it's been a pleasure.
Yeah,
we're going to go record another show with another one of our partners. But we want to see you at the Stockyard in Bristol, July 19th. I know it's a ways out from now, but I am going to be promoting this like a motherfucker. So I hope to see you there. Tickets are $10. It starts at 7 p.m. with DJ Hughes, and then our bands start at 8 p.m. Tell your friends, tell your neighbors, tell anybody in the phone book. They'll listen to the sound of your voice and tell them, hey, Mike V's back and we're putting on shows again. For Kerry C. Allen, as I choke on myself. You got anything to say before we go, homie?
Just thanks for having me. Glad we could get this all together. Super exciting. This will be the best metal show we've had in a long time. And yeah, just glad we're doing it. Glad we're making some progress.
Well, make sure you check out Kerry every Thursday night. It's one of the highest rated shows on Pirate Flag Radio. It is Fuzzkill Radio. It's taken on a life of its own. How many episodes are you up to now?
My next one will be 69. 69.
Oh. It's hard to believe that you've done 69 episodes.
It's really hard to believe, but yeah, we're up to 69.
All right, Kerry. We'll talk to you later, buddy.
Yeah, sounds good, man. See you guys.